how did I actually grow the 2 7-figure Amazon businesses doing online arbitrage? Now, first thing first, what I want to do is talk you through my journey. If you follow my YouTube channel, you are going to see that journey that I've been through. My God, I think I've been doing YouTube now for like 3 years. And my first YouTube video, oh my God, I watched it the other day. It was like awful. So what I want to do is just kind of talk you through the journey. And also if you've watched any of my like nearly 1,000 YouTube videos, you'll probably know this, but I'll kind of talk you through as a summary in this video now. So 5 years ago, I started selling on Amazon UK. And at the time I had a girlfriend, we were living in London and we were always planning to move out of London. So I had to do a remote business because at the time she was studying and we were going to move out. So the business had to move with me. So I couldn't have an office. So what did I do? I looked at Amazon arbitrage. I loved it. It wasn't the first one. I did wholesale, didn't work for me. I fell in love with arbitrage. Then unfortunately, I broke up with my girlfriend and a good friend of mine said, hey, Tom, you should go to Thailand for a month and you could be sitting on a beach. And he showed me a picture of, like the guy sitting on the beach with the laptop. And I was like, wow, that could be me. But you know what? I went and did that. I went to Thailand and sat on the beach and it really doesn't work. It's hot, it's sticky, and the laptop, you just can't see the screen. It's just not a nice experience. So if you have those kind of like dreams, it doesn't really work, I promise you. Like I spent most of my time in an office, like when I wasn't, at the beach. But what did it allow me to do? It allowed me to realize that actually going to places like Thailand was incredible. And I still remember it to this day. I moved to Thailand. And by the way, my business wasn't doing amazing. I had a small team, it was good. But I did call my sister up and I said, hey Claire, I'm not coming home. She was like, okay, cool, when are you coming home? I was like, no, I'm not coming home ever. What I realized at that point is I really loved the balance of working, building a business, but also adventure, seeing the world, learning about new experiences, and also meeting really cool other nomads who are building amazing businesses as well. So I love that. To take you through, and I talked about it, my business had a small team, but let's put it this way. At the time I was in Thailand, I was struggling. And why do I mean I was struggling? Well, my business was doing okay. I still had to work in it a lot. But if you're ever like, if you know any English people, we like to go out and drink. And my problem was that when I first got to Thailand, I was like, well, hey, this is amazing. I went out and partied because it was quite cheap. The problem was I kept doing it. And for about 5 months straight, 6 nights a week, I would go out and drink. And it was like a disaster. Disaster on my business, disaster on everything that I was doing. My business was going downhill. Why? Because I wasn't giving it the attention. I had a team, they were doing well, but you need to check in, support them, monitor them. And I just didn't have the right systems and processes in place at the time. And to give you one really good example, my purchasing manager at the time, I remember looking at one of the items of stock we had. It was some like Levi jeans. They were like 42-inch waist and like 20-inch leg. Like super wide, doing small. What I'd done is the product had sold really well, but it wasn't the variation that we had bought. And it was like, oh my God, we had so much stock that we just couldn't sell. And I was like, my business is like going to fail. If I don't jump in and fix it and get back on track, my business will fail. And it was probably as a result of me going out and getting drunk every night. So that was a bad thing, but I learned that. So what I realized, and should we say at that time, or I had a nightmare. And my nightmare was, and it's quite hilarious when you think about it, was that I was living this amazing life in Thailand and I was running this remote business and my business would fail and I'd have to go back to the UK and I'd have to get a job. And one day in my job, I was sat in the office, by the way, someone in the office would be going on holiday and they'd be going on holiday to Thailand. And my boss at the time, when this dream would come up to that person and go, oh, where are you off to? And they'd be like, oh, I'm off to Thailand. My colleague, for example. And my boss would be like, oh, Thailand. Yeah, I know someone who used to have the best life, traveling the world, running an online business remotely, and used to live in Thailand. And they messed it all up. And they are sat here right now. And they're like, Tom, wasn't that you? And I'd be like, oh yeah, it was me. Sorry. Like, I lived the best life. Like, my God, like, sounds like the dream for so many people. And it was my dream at the time. But I realized that with that dream, I couldn't just live the dream. I had to work as well. And what I didn't ever want to do is I didn't want to have to go back and get a job. For me, that was like my definition of failure. So I realized something had to change. What to change? Well, I left Thailand. I stopped being so drunk. I left and I went to Vietnam and I pretty much worked my ass off for the next 2 years. And if you follow my journey, you'll probably see a video where I did, and it's me like in Vietnam with a big sign. It says £1 million in 18 months. And I set myself a challenge. I'm going to take this business seriously. And what does seriously mean? It means I've got to make a challenge. And that was for me doing that £1 million challenge. Now, quite simply, what did I do? And if you watch that video, and I'll drop a link to it up there because I think it's an amazing video. And if you are wanting to do the same process, watch it. It's incredible. incredible. And so many people have taken some value from it and watched that journey. So the goal was £1 million in sales over an 18-month period. And I documented, or I talked about how I'm going to build my team. I'm going to talk about the money, the processes, the people, everything that I think I'm going to need to do, cash back. I did a mini P&L on like a sheet or an Excel spreadsheet that you can download and to really support me. And I talked about the people, the team, the money, everything that I need to do, and 18 months of the challenge that I set for myself. Fast forward 12 months, well, we had done the 1 million, and I was so happy about that. I planned obviously 18 months to do the 1 million, but we actually did it in 12. And the one thing which I kind of saw, and if you want to know, at the same time I'm running Fast Track FBA, and my business is now becoming more successful, so I'm quite happy. And if you know anything about me, I kind of talk about a lot like I'm incredibly lazy. I call myself lazy. I work incredibly hard, but what I don't ever want to do is the same thing over and over again. At the time, I hired an operations manager to manage my UK business and to really start thinking about actually growing. And the reason is if I was going to step back from the UK business and move into the USA business, I really wanted someone to become me. So someone to hold the team accountable. And as a result, that operations manager was, I was training up, and they kind of took over pretty much once we reached the £1 million mark. So I was super happy. Now what happened was I was then able to leave the UK business and move over to the US business. It probably took me about 3 months to set up, or a bit less than that. And that started my USA journey. So what did I do? Well, I took the learnings, I took the processes and systems, and again, that kind of 1 million in 18 months, and I used it into the USA business. And I set myself a challenge. I want to do 7 figures in the USA. But I also learned what systems worked, what was working, and I improved it. I've managed to achieve 1 million in one business. I'm really proud of this. But also on the other hand, was that a fluke? Was that something that I could just do once, or could I do it again? And the challenge for me was replicating in another marketplace. And also as well, it's called risk diversification, i.e. I've got one Amazon business. If that would have a problem, then I've got another one. Now it's simple. And I'm a really big believer in risk diversifying, but also as well, I'm a big believer in synergies, i.e. taking something which is working, copying it to another one, and doing it again. Why would you do like an Amazon business and then do an Airbnb business? They're so different. You could just do an Amazon business here and then an Amazon business there and there. You know what you're doing. You're just copying and pasting. It's so simple. I love it. And so for me, I started that £1 million journey in Amazon USA. And like I said earlier on, 14 months later, after doing that, we managed to achieve the $1 million mark in the USA. $1 million. And I'm super proud of that. And that was just a team of 5. And I want to be really crystal clear. I ran that business first 5 months. I was the purchaser. I was training the hired VAs from the Fast Track FBA Academy. We got them sourcing, and I was buying the deals for like 20 hours a week. And then we got a purchasing manager and an admin staff, and I stepped back. So the structure was purchasing, admin, 3 sources, and I just allowed them to run. And I was pretty much running that business on 2 hours a week, hoarding, guiding, coaching. And what happened? We managed to grow it to $1 million in sales over the next 14 months and actually achieved it in a 12-month period, which I'm so proud of with my team. And it showed me that we were able to replicate that journey. Why? Because we built the systems, we built the frameworks, we knew how to do it. And really, business is just a system, it's a framework that you can use, you can copy over into many, many marketplaces. And again, what I loved about it, what I really, really loved, was 2 things. Number 1, we'd learned it in the UK, we built $1 million out of it. We copied the same framework and we used that framework within the USA, and we started again, got to another $1 million in 14 months. But also, what else did we do? We took the same framework, we put it into the UK, and my ops manager continued that framework. Remember, we were doing 1 million in the last 12 months? Well, you know what? In the following 3 months after I completed the $1 million, he did another $1 million in sales. And in the following 12 months after I did my first $1 million, he did 3.5. It was like, oh my God, like make me look bad. Why? Because it was the framework. It just allowed us to focus down on exactly what we needed to do and really help scale our business. And that's the story of me building not 1, but 2 7-figure Amazon businesses. By the way, 3.5 million in one of them. Pretty good. Now, what I'll say is hopefully you enjoyed that journey. And I won't lie, I've worked damn hard during that. If anyone tells you this business is easy, you can get rich quick, they're lying. I promise you that. It's just not going to happen. Business is inherently risky. You're probably going to lose money. And then number 2 is the fact that it takes hard work and dedication. That's the things I've learned from interviewing, meeting so many successful people within life and also within Amazon businesses. When I set that challenge, the 1 million in the UK, I really documented it. I built out my P&L. I talked about people. I talked about processes. I talked about cash flow. I talked about everything. And what were we really doing? We were building our framework for how our Amazon business wanted to work. Now, over the course of that £1 million journey in the UK, we refined it. And again, I was super proud when I hit that 1 million, but I wanted to ask myself the question, could I do it again? So hence why we started the USA business, and we started from scratch, and we used the same framework in the USA, and it really allowed us to focus on what really mattered, build the team. And my God, it gave me time. I had 2 hours a week. We're doing like 150,000 a month now in the USA. I'm doing 2 hours a week, but but I know exactly where my business is, I know what needs to be focused on, and everyone is held accountable. And also as well, I can celebrate successes with my team. Again, it comes down to that framework, and that same framework we used within UK, again, taking it from 1 million in 12 months revenue to 3.5 million in 12 months revenue. Why do I tell you this? Why do I tell you this whole story? Well, because quite simply, what we're doing right now is we're using that framework with other sellers. We're helping them develop their business. One of my missions, and one of the things I realized when I sat at the bottom of a beer glass in Thailand is like, why? Why do you do all this? And ironically, when I first started Amazon, I wanted to not talk to anyone, but I found myself really lonely and hence went out drinking a lot. And when I realized that, I went to Vietnam, started a YouTube channel, I started connecting with other sellers. I actually really enjoy helping other sellers, helping other people grow. And we've been doing this through Fast Track FBA. And our mission is really to help people make money by reselling on Amazon. That's it. That's what we really love doing. And I love giving back and sharing. Now, why do I tell you this? Because quite simply, that framework that we developed in the UK, we tested in the USA, and also grown 2 businesses now, we are using within the Fast Track FBA Seller Academy. So we are taking a select number of sellers every single month. And what we're doing is we're deploying using the same systems, frameworks, tools, processes that I've used, SOPs, everything documented, clearly laid out. And with my own businesses, we are using with those sellers. Why? Because we want to help them grow. That's part of our mission, to help people make money by reselling on Amazon. Super simple. And this is part of me like fulfilling what I like to do and help other people. Hence why I create these videos for you, because I really love sharing about it. Now, the one thing I should say is if you are interested, and perhaps maybe you're looking at your business right now, maybe it's like maybe not doing so well, or perhaps maybe it's okay, but it isn't really growing and you think you want to take it to the next level, then what I'll say is do look at the Fast Track FBA Seller Academy. I'll drop a link down below, and you do have to book a call with my team, because not only do we want to share about you what the whole process is, you get access to all my team and myself, I'm regularly part of it, weekly calls with me that you'll see, but also as well, we want to make sure that you're going to be right for the community that we're building and you're the right kind of seller we're after. So you will have to have a call with my team. It doesn't cost you anything. You can just jump on a call and have that conversation and ask the questions away. So have a look at the link down below so you can see more information about that, and obviously see if you want to join our program to help grow your Amazon arbitrage business.